Hey everyone, Paul Casey, Growing Forward Services here. And I've got a video for you today on questions to pack in your self-leadership backpack before you head to work every day. And let me just start by saying, do you hear voices in your head? I've got a friend that always says that. I've got a lot of voices going on in my head. You should, but we have to be selective with those voices in our head. And these are self-leadership questions, should be part of those voices that you must listen to and you must deal with, because self-leadership always precedes team leadership. I'll say that again. Self-leadership always precedes team leadership. You cannot lead farther than you've gone yourself. So for leaders, this is critical. John Maxwell says successful people make important decisions early in their life and then manage those decisions for the rest of their life. And you're like, well, I'm already quite a ways into my life. Does that mean I'm not going to be successful? No, it just means you start now. They say the best time to plant a tree is 15 years ago, and then the next best day is today. So with these self-leadership questions and answering those for yourself, today is the best day to tackle those. The secret of your success is determined by your daily agenda. So I would encourage you to actually schedule a personal retreat this month so you can really grapple with this. Save this video and make sure you play it later to really wrestle with the answers to these questions and really map out your goals for the rest of the year. So they're sort of random, but each one of them is very important for a different reason. So I'll tell you the background of the question and what it will get at if you actually answer it. The first one is, what is my personal mission statement and my personal vision statement on which to base my personal decisions? So my personal mission statement is to add value to people through encouraging, equipping words, servant leader actions, and a contagious passion to honor God with my life. I've said it enough times that it's memorized, and it's like my true north. It's when opportunities come at me, it has to fit within that mission, or it's a no. So it's really important to form this. A lot of people go through life drifting or unfulfilled for many, many years because they don't have this guiding light, this inner mantra that they can use as a filter for their decisions. Tony Robbins says, one reason so few of us achieve what we really want is we never direct our focus. We never concentrate our power. Most people dabble their way through life, never deciding to master anything in particular. And I really believe you could make a bigger difference in this world, at work, in your relationships, with this kind of laser focus. And a quick rabbit trail on that, he used the word master in his quote. I've tried to be a little bit more of an expert in some area that lines up with my values every year. So I get a little bit better at one area and just go a little bit deeper on that, usually turn it into a seminar, which will eventually turn into a book someday, so I can add value to more people. So you may want to choose to do that as well. But of course, that fits with my personal mission statement. So carve out some time to do that. Number 2, what are my greatest strengths and assets? What are my greatest strengths and assets? Because whatever your strengths are, you want to keep developing them and keep maximizing them. Because if you focus on your weaknesses, it's just going to make you feel weak, because your weaknesses will never be your strengths. I use this illustration of when it comes to auto repair, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 1. Okay, I don't know what's going on under the hood. Sorry if I lose my man card on that one, but I've never taken the time to learn. My dad never taught me, so I take it to an auto repair shop to take care of that. And you might say, hey, Paul, come on over. Every weekend, I'll show you something about auto repair. And I would listen attentively, and I would put my hands on the stuff that you tell me to. But you know what? It's just, I don't have the knack for that. It's always going to be a weakness. I might get up to like a 4, but a 4 is still going to be a weakness. So, but if I'm an 8 when it comes to coaching and speaking, and I keep working on this, I could become a 10. And people pay for 10s. You want a 10 hairstylist, you want a 10 server at a restaurant, definitely want a 10 surgeon. And so people are going to pay for that. So become a 10 at which you're already an 8 at. I would encourage you to take the Strengths Finder 2.0 assessment, because there's 34 strengths there. And they've got it so scientifically based that it's going to niche down in the 20-minute test that you take, just $20 to take it. And it's going to give you your top 5. And when you read those 5, it's going to be like, whoa, somebody's reading my mail. I mean, this is just like totally me. And then you can say, all right, on these 5 things, how do I maximize those strengths? Harold Kushner says, the circumstances of your life have uniquely qualified you to make a contribution. And if you don't make that contribution, nobody else can make it. So it really starts, not just your experiences, but with those strengths and maximizing those to help others. Number 3, what's the boat anchor that's holding me back in my life? Okay, here's a deep one. And it may require a therapist to help ferret some of this out, or a coach to help you. But you have to blast before you build. You've got to wipe out whatever that boat anchor is that's holding you back, and just start dragging it into life with you. And you can't really run that race with that ball and chain around your ankle. So you've got to free up. Give up the past in order to live into your future. Like I said, it might take a counselor or a coach to help explore what that thing is, because after a while, baggage gets heavy. And I want to encourage you to travel light on this journey of life. So you can't fix, by the way, what you won't face. So you've got to say, what is this boat anchor that's holding me back, because it's really limiting my effectiveness. Okay, number 4. Who is on my personal board of directors? Your personal board of directors. Henry Cloud says, put together a group of people who have a 360-degree version of your life. And I think there's 3 kinds of people that you could put in this category of your personal board of directors that's going to help you with your self-leadership. The first category is mentors or coaches. I want to hang around people smarter than me. And the way you do this, you're like, well, do I just walk up to someone and say, I admire you and would you be my mentor? It doesn't even really have to be that formal. It could be. It's like you really respect them and you want to ask them to be your coach or your mentor. Well, I love the quote, take someone to lunch before someone else eats yours. So we need to offer to say, hey, could I pay for your lunch if you'll spend an hour with me and I could just ask you some questions? It could be that informal. You need someone, though, to ask you the tough questions that make you think in order to change, because otherwise we're just going to stay right here all the time until someone challenges that thinking. So I'm a coach, but I also have a coach. And I ask that coach to ask me some challenging questions each and every session, because it makes me go, okay, these are questions that I ask my clients, but I'm really glad that he's asking those to me because it makes me think. The second category of this personal board of directors are encouragers. We all need safe people in our life to open up to. Everyone needs a few close friends to help them in reaching his or her own potential. We need a place to process our life. I hope you have these folks in your life, your squad, as my daughter would say, or your tribe, where they just love you for who you are in your style, and they're just going to keep you pumped up when you get discouraged. A third category is mentees. So these are people that you are passing the torch to. Thomas Stanley says, to know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded. So are you leaving a legacy behind you? You're like, well, I'm still pretty young. I know, but you're still ahead of some people, and you still know way more, probably than 10,000 people in some area of your life. Are you turning around and mentoring someone? It could be at your company, could be someone in the community, it could be one of your own children. But are you leaving that legacy behind you, someone that you are mentoring? So mentors, encouragers, and mentees, we all need those in our life. Which area needs more of your attention? Who is mirroring back you to yourself? Because feedback is the breakfast of champions. So who is holding you accountable? You might need a mastermind group. This might be a way that you surround yourself with other business owners or managers. Maybe it's simply getting a success partner, someone that's going to you're going to meet with periodically, whether that's virtually or live, and you're going to ask each other some accountability questions to make sure that you're accomplishing your goals. Maybe you have to start your own meetup group, but whatever, you've got to have a group of people that's giving you feedback. All right, number 5, how am I managing my priorities? How am I managing my priorities? Now, I'm not talking about, I like to talk about time management a lot. You know this about me if you followed me much, but I don't even like that phrase, to be honest. I think it's more energy management or priority management, because that's what it's all about. Time is the same for everybody. But how you prioritize and manage your energy, that is unique to you. So Brian Tracy says, keep asking yourself, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? We have to be asking ourselves that question all day, or we might find out that we're squirreling onto other things and we're not getting those priorities done. And then we procrastinate, and then we feel like a loser. So you've got to determine every day what your big rocks are, those big priorities. Stephen Covey calls them quadrant 2 activities. They're not urgent, but they are important. When you do them, you're going to move the needle. If you don't do them, no one's going to be mad at you right now, but eventually that's going to catch up to you. So the time management tool that I'll leave you with today that I love to say is, before you leave work today, before you go to bed today, pick your 3 priorities for tomorrow, the 3 things that you must get done so that you do not succumb to the tyranny of the urgent and another day goes by and you don't get those priorities done. So the 5 questions I threw at you today for self-leadership. What's your personal mission and vision statement so you can base your personal decisions off those? What are your greatest strengths and assets so you can really focus on them and make those 8s into 10s? What's the boat anchor that's holding me back in my life, that thing that you've got to explore? Maybe it's some kind of limiting belief that's holding you back. Number 4, who is on my personal board of directors? I shared that you need mentors and coaches that are ahead of you. You need encouragers that are that love you who you are. They're like friends. And then you need mentees, someone you're passing a legacy to. And then number 5, how are you managing your priorities? Do you have your 3 picked every day and you're just going to make sure those get done so that you don't succumb to the tyranny of the urgent? Love to get your feedback on any of these or some other questions that you believe that all of us should be asking ourselves to be successful in our self-leadership. You can reach out to me on my website, paulcasey.org. Got some free articles there that you can glean from. And also you can see my 4 books on there: Maximizing Every Minute, The Static Cling Principle, Leading the Team You've Always Wanted, and my newest one, Leading with Supervision. Hey, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching and keep growing forward.